welcome back to the Glassgirls network. It's me and John back again. Just the two of us again this time. But we're here to talk about everything Stourbridge as always. John, it's hot. Bit hot, isn't it?
Very hot. It's because I'm in here, that's what it is.
Wee! Very good.
It's lovely.
Very good.
And I finally landed on my feet. I got a week off work and it's blazing off sunshine. So happy days. And I've got a bet with a former Glass girl on who's going to be more tanned by the end of the week. And keep your eyes peeled on Instagram. I might tag that person. I'm bound to lose, let's put it that way.
Do you reckon you're winning at the moment or no?
I think I'm giving it a fair shot.
Yeah.
But this player's gone on holiday, so I've got no chance of that.
Maybe not. Yeah,
we'll see. I'll keep pushing.
The old Brewson doesn't really do it like that, I don't think. But let's skip over John's tan or whatever we're talking about there, and go on to the pressing matters at Stourbridge. Because the biggest news, probably about less than 24 hours after the last podcast went out, we were debating for probably about half an hour. Is Meg going to stay? Is Meg Bailey going to stay? Is she going to leave? What does Stourbridge look like if she leaves? What does it look like if she stays? And then we got the answers of that within 24 hours. Meg Bailey's left. She's decided that it's best for her career, for her journey, that her and the club part ways. She has now gone to Redditch Borough, which I'm sure we'll talk about in just a second. But first of all, we want to wish Meg all the best. Obviously, she's given us a great 12 months. She sort of brought the joy back into watching Stourbridge for me. Mm-hmm. Obviously brought some amazing girls through the door with her as well. Obviously she's gone to work with Aid over at Redditch Borough, and I'm sure she'll absolutely smash it, won't she? Yeah,
not just enjoy a bit of watching Stourbridge, but also a bit of a good vibe again, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is good. I think first and foremost, I think we need to publicly say that we wish Meg a lot of luck, don't we? I think
100%.
I think the days are gone now where if you wear a different colour t-shirt on a Sunday with a different badge on it, that they're out of your life. I think that's wrong to do that. So, Meg's going to go obviously to Redditch Borough with Aid, which has gone there already. We wish her all the best. I think the only awkward thing is it's the same league as Stourbridge, isn't it?
Yeah.
So much like Kidderminster last year, when Kidderminster was in the same league as Stourbridge, there has to be some sort of distance there, and we fully respect that. So I'm not expecting too many conversations with Aidan and Bailey this season in regards to anything too secretive, because of course, it's one of those, isn't it, where you're talking to a rival fan, I guess.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we don't wish them well. And in my eyes, they're the favourites for the league.
Yeah.
I still stand.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Obviously, I presume there's going to be a lot of movement there. Probably a few players from this season might end up going there with Meg. Be really, really interesting to watch. Obviously, we've got a lot of time for quite a lot of the girls over at Redditch Borough. They're building pretty much what it is right now. It's pretty much a full former Stourbridge starting 11, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they add a few more faces to it. It's a really, really interesting project. Really exciting. And as you say, I'm sure they'll be right up there come this time next year. It'll be nice to see them in the National League.
I think that's the reason why Bailey might have chose to go to Redditch Borough. We know that Bailey loved the club. She's been here longer than us. I think ever since me and you joined the same season, didn't we?
Yeah.
When there was first in Tier 5, so we're about to go into our 6th season now following Stourbridge FC Women. We might have kept our eye scores previously before that, but Tier 5, the first time that we was there, is our first memory, and Bailey was there then. So, we know that she loves the club. She's always around the club, even when she wasn't playing or coaching or managing. So I think the reason why she probably chose to go to Redditch Borough is because the project and the vision there probably more matched her ideas as opposed to what maybe Stourbridge wanted. So it's always a shame when that happens, isn't it? But it's probably the best for both parties. She's going somewhere where she believes is the right way to run a women's section, and Stourbridge have now appointed somebody else who fits their vision. So, best luck to Bailey. Great year last year, and we'll carry on supporting her from a distance.
Definitely, 100%. And a bit more sad news as well. Someone else has gone with her, and that's April Maguire, who was our head of girls football, and obviously played for the first team numerous times throughout the season as well.
Yeah.
April was a funny one as a player, wasn't she? Because we knew how talented she was, but injuries just got the best of her for so long. Obviously, she was out for a very, very extended period over the last couple of seasons, and then she's come back this season. But struggled to string a number of games together properly, and that really hampered her season, really. And yeah, so she's gone with me to Redditch Borough. I'm not 100% sure if it's
similar role.
I don't know if that includes a playing capacity as well. Potentially, one or two games here and there, but be really, really interesting to see. But again, she's someone that's been around the club for a number of years now, and a person that you really associate with Stourbridge, don't you? Just not even on the women's match days, but there for the men's team as well, and working with the bar staff and stuff like that. Yeah, she was really, really nice to have around the place, and yeah, really, really good at bringing up a successful girls team, because the girls junior section has done really, really well.
Yeah.
The past couple of years under her, so. Yeah, obviously fair play to her in what she's done. It's obviously caught the eye of Meg and Aid, and they're probably hoping to replicate that at Redditch Borough, bring the Redditch youth through properly. And I'm sure she'll go there to do that, won't she?
Yeah, I think so. I think she's probably will still be around the club. She's obviously got friends at the club as well that she won't lose touch with. Don't like to go into detail too much, but obviously she does know people there, so she'll still be there. And she has been on the shift throughout the summer. I think maybe when the season starts, that might be a little bit more limited. But I think with her role, it probably enables her to be a bit more free on the evenings to a point. So she doesn't necessarily need to go to training on a Tuesday, Thursday. Maybe I'm wrong there. But she can. There's nothing stopping her from looking at some of the youngsters train. But yeah, hopefully she used to live in and around the club, and she's defended the club so many times when the club have been attacked or whatever for whatever reason. She's the one that's constantly there defending Stourbridge, isn't she? But she's probably gone for the same reasons as Bailo. She knows she can trust Bailo, they've been friends. And as you said at the start of the show, how many people now will follow Bailo to Redditch Borough, and there will be probably a handful at least, won't there?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we cut out the echo. Hopefully that wasn't too annoying. But let's talk about our players of the season, players, whatever they are. They're our award winners, that's what they're called. And starting off, John, I know you want to talk a little bit about just the night in general, because obviously it was, 3 weeks ago, something like that, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You and Andy Wall had a little one down, and it's fair to say you enjoyed the night, didn't you?
I like that Wonder Wall. There we go.
Yes,
there we go. There we go. Throw that one in there. He's smiling behind the camera.
Yeah.
It was a great night. It was a good few weeks ago now, wasn't it? It was a good few weeks ago. But me and Andrew went, and there was a collection of players, a few player pairs were there. And it was just one of those nights where you knew it was like the end of the road, I guess. At least for Stourbridge with those group of people.
Yeah.
Whether or not some of those players will join Meg in the next season or the season after, we don't know, do we? But no, it was nice to see, and I think that everyone got rewarded the same way, awarded the way they should have been. And we had a bit of a chat and a nice photograph with Ella Brennan, a great chat with her parents, as we've done over the season anyway. But no, it was a nice bit of closure at the end of the season, and I think we all deserve that, really, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about them, shall we, the award winners. Player's player, first of all. A lot of people say this is the one that you want to win, obviously being judged by your own peers, your own teammates. And that was Liv Owen, the skipper. Obviously, she has been an amazing player for us. Obviously, came into a centre-half with a bit of a name for herself in the league already.
Yeah.
We sort of knew what sort of calibre we were expecting, but potentially not how good she would be as a leader, and how good she'd be off the pitch as well. And I would imagine, obviously, she's been really, really good on the pitch. A proper centre-half who loves to get stuck in his tackles, but I would imagine the way she's been off the pitch is a lot of the reason why she would have won this vote. Obviously, you'd imagine your captain being there for you, supporting you, and just being what the idea of a captain should be, and that from what we hear is what Liv has been, and I think she's very worthy of an award, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a rock in that squad, wasn't she? I'm sure she was like vocal off the pitch as well, like away from the games. I know that she would have probably had offers elsewhere throughout the season, and she decided to stay loyal with to Bailo. And I'm sure she'll look at a fellow Tier 4 side in the upcoming season as well. But we wasn't surprised with many of these awards really, and player for it to be a captain who plays so well. It was very close to winning the fans vote as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, not surprised on this one at all.
I think obviously we know all the winners that are coming up here. I think they are the ones that you probably put in the mix for your fans player of the season anyway. For me personally.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
one of your favourites.
Yeah. Probably the most underrated player in the squad, I think, because she's just so consistent. Minimum of a 7 out of 10 each week, in my opinion. And that's the winner of the One Heart One Way award, which is Ella Sharp. And the One Heart One Way award, it's a bit of a funny one, isn't it? It's a club award. It's not gone to the most glamorous footballer who scored 1 million goals in a season. It's gone for someone who's done a little bit more. Whether that's we've had so many different winners of it in the past, and they've all gone for people that have just gone
like
a little bit that extra mile. And, not really caught all the names as well. But us as fans talk about players like Ella Brennan's and Liv Owens, until the sun sets. But these players sometimes go under the radar. But when they are still that good, it's almost wrong to miss them out, isn't it? Really. As you say, Ella's someone that's caught my eye. I really enjoy watching her play. I think she's a very, very solid left back. I think she has a very decent career ahead of her in Tier 4, potentially even looking up further, as she progresses. I'm really excited to see, obviously, where she ends up. First and foremost, I'd love to stay at Stourbridge. Yeah. But if she doesn't, for whatever reason, I'd love to see where she ends up in the future.
I think one thing that stuck in my mind on Bailo's speech, she says, many people may not know how good she is. And to a point, that could have been referring to us fans as well, because I don't think we spoke massively about her throughout the season, because, like you say, she's not the most glamorous ones. I look back at some of the players that we've had in history, like Irama Govens, one of the best players that we've probably ever had. She's won like 4 leagues on a trot, went to the Stourbridge, she won it at Kelso as well. But you don't always talk about them because they go under the radar, whether it be in person, whether it be on social media. They just come in, do a job, go home, and that's pretty much it. Lil Beth being the other one, Beth Owen. And maybe Ella's a bit similar to that, but you don't win this award without deserving it. Nice to see.
Definitely. And then your manager's player of the year. This is someone who has caught the eye of the manager. I really like as well how every award has a different winner. I think I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, but it just makes it quite nice that it's shared around, and not everyone's just running home with all awards. It's being nicely passed around. And Caitlin Dealey is the manager's player of the season. Again, someone that we've spoken so much about. She sometimes got a bit overlooked in that midfield of Bella and Ella. But Caitlin, she was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, she had a great relationship with Bailo. Obviously, off to the States as well. We wish her all the best in the States. Obviously, that's coming up quite soon for her, to be fair. Obviously, it's a shame that we're probably not going to see her return to Stourbridge. Obviously, she said that when she returns for a holiday break, whenever that might be, she was interested in still playing over here, whether that's at Stourbridge or whether she follows Meg and goes to Redditch Borough. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Or whether she just has a nice deserved break, to be fair. I don't blame her for that one bit. Yeah. But she's got a fantastic work rate, work ethic. And definitely, again, worthy of picking up an award. I think to be fair, you could swap and change all of them. Like, you can't really predict who's going to be your player's player, who's going to be your manager's player. You could put all of these names in a hat and just pick them at random. I think they'd all fit, wouldn't they, really? Yeah.
And, well, we got a nice photo, didn't we, before the end of the season with the American flag, and thanks DG for buying that flag and coming up with the idea, because it was a nice little gesture, because she did work really hard throughout the whole season. She was always there to reply on the social media post or inbox, which was great as well. What I said to Ella Brennan's parents when we were talking about the supporters player, I said Caitlin Dealey was everyone's number 2. So it's not like she wasn't anyone's top choice, but she was everyone's second choice, and that's probably why she didn't win the fans player, just because there was always one other player that picked her. But she was certainly well liked with the fans, and hopefully we'll see her back if not at Stourbridge, still playing in the West Midlands again in the future.
100%. Yeah, that'll be lovely to see. And then the final one, the one that we've spoken probably the most about. Obviously, we did a whole little segment all about the supporters player. Ella Brennan, if you didn't know. There she is behind us. But in my opinion, my favourite player of last season, the one that I voted for supporters player of the year. And yeah, I think it's lovely to see her get the recognition that she deserves, because for me, she was the standout last season.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoy watching her play, and she, if we're talking about some of these players might have a future in football, she definitely does. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, she plays so much, doesn't she, with the futsal and other teams as well throughout the whole week. I think she'll end up in tier 4. The parents did drop a hint where she might go because of where her friends are, and I'm sure we'll see that get announced throughout the summer. But it's a well-deserved tier 4 side, because ultimately she's a tier 4 player, isn't she? And
absolutely.
She's not one of the youngest players. I think she was 19, 20-ish. So, when you look at how young our squad was last season, you kind of
more
look
senior
at
players in a way,
Yeah, she played a lot of football that time, so no wonder she's as qualified as she is, really. But it's a great way for her to end her time at Stourbridge. Thoroughly deserved, and again, we've got another nice photo with her on that awards night. So at least we've got some memories to take away with us, especially of Ella. And best of luck to all these players, because they've given us some good moments, haven't they, over the past season?
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, a lot of these players, well, they are the standouts for a reason. And so you'd imagine, obviously, getting relegated, we won't see them again in a Stourbridge shirt, which is sad. But it's the way football works. We're going to get introduced to a new crop of players. And speaking of which, a new manager. Oh, what a segue!
There we go.
Becky Knight, here she is with Andy Bullingham. Lovely, lovely little shirt in the middle as well, I must say. But there she is, Becky Knight, the new manager, coming in. Her first senior role. I've heard that somewhere before. But yeah, I'm really, really excited about this one, because obviously it's not anyone that we know massive amounts about beforehand. Obviously we've done our bits of research into her. But yeah, John, take it away. Give us the rundown on what we can expect from a Becky Knight Stourbridge side, in your opinion.
I didn't know I wasn't expecting that question, but the first thing that came into my mind was she's a normal person. It's like,
right.
And what I mean by that is it's like talking to another fan.
Yeah.
Because you can tell how much she loves women's football.
Mm-hmm.
My first interaction with Beck was about 2 years ago, when it all kicked off at Solihull Moors. I think I was supporting Killy Harries at a time, and I messaged Beck saying something along the lines of, "Are you ready for a move from Solihull Moors?"
Trying to get the gossip.
I might have been, yeah. And she was injured at the time, so obviously she wasn't going to move to another team. So ever since then, I've followed her on social media, and fair play to her a couple of years ago, standing up for what she believes in, and I think it takes a strong character to do that. But since then, obviously she's been at Dudley College. She won the Dudley College League, undefeated that season as well. And if you have a look at some of the photos, you'll recognise some of those players.
Yes.
And I really encourage some of the Stourbridge fans to get hold of some of them photos, because it's some of our old Stourbridge standard players. So who knows? It's nice that she's got links with some of those players that play elsewhere in the West Midlands. I think first and foremost, when I see her down the club, and she loves talking about women's football. She's quite open. She's going to be professional. She's still learning about the club, still meeting some of the people for the first time. But I think she's been down there. Well, I've seen her down there twice. She's obviously been down there to meet the mayor. That was another occasion. She was obviously down there before we saw her down there. So there's been down there at least 4 or 5 times to what we know of. But yeah, I think all in all, it was just a breath of fresh air to meet someone that just loves the game, who's quite innocent to the role that she's going into. I don't think she's expecting miracles at all. She's been open saying it's a 2-year project, which probably means the pressure's going to be off in that first season to win the league.
Yeah.
Because I think we can talk about that right now. Actually, when you get relegated 2 years on the trot, you got 2 things that come to mind. One, you should be one of the best teams in that league that you've got into. But on the other side, you need some stabilisation. If that's stability, that's the word. So you need to be stable, and I think first and foremost we need to be stable, don't we?
Definitely.
We were so close to potentially not even having a women's side, in my opinion. If we didn't have Beck to fall back on because of the links at Dudley College with some of our players, where would that have then gone? So yeah, I think stability is key. Let's get a bit of a happy atmosphere, which I think she can bring, and then build on that. And I've said that to myself. I don't think with what she's been left with, much like what Bailey was left with, much like what Aid was left with, which was very little in regards to players and coaches. I think just get a group of people that you can trust, who you can grow together with, and then start looking at results. That's what I think. I don't know about what your first impressions are of Becky, but for me, it's nice and genuine, really.
Yeah, no, all positive from what I hear. I'm yet to meet her in person, but yeah, definitely all positive from what I hear, from what I hear you say, from what I hear people in the club say, from what I see on social media. It all seems happy, positive, and yeah, obviously, as you say, it's nice that she already has that connection with Stourbridge, that she's not 100% an outsider. Maybe she is with the first team and the actual ongoings in the club, but from a Stourbridge badge, she still is recognised, and that's really, really nice, because it's nice to have that person that sort of understands the club and the fans and what's expected and things like that. But in terms of an actual squad that she's putting together, obviously we're yet to announce anyone just yet. It would be lovely to see some of the girls from last year stay. I'm sure we'll go over them in just a bit in who we think could stay, who could be on their way out. But from her pool, it'll be really interesting to see who she's already got links with. Obviously, Meg found links with sort of Notts County and Derby and a few other Midlands clubs around the area. It would be really interesting to see who she already has established connections with, and who she can call upon. Obviously, she's had a playing career as well, a successful playing career in the women's pyramid. So potentially some of those players she played with when they were younger had now progressed on in their career, and if they're looking for a new club, they could sort of rejoin with her. And as you mentioned, the Stourbridge Standard girls who are also now within the women's pyramid. Obviously, a lot of them left last season and have gone on to do really, really well.
Playing in tier 6 already.
Exactly, yeah. Some of them tier 6, a couple of them, tier 5 for a period. But yeah, it'd be really, really interesting to start seeing who she brings in, and obviously more importantly, the girls that she keeps, in my opinion, because we've got a lot of talented players that were there, and although a lot of them struggled and didn't 100% find their feet in tier 4. Tier 5 is the perfect place for some of those players, I think. Do we want to go over just quickly before we move on to the next bit of news, sort of what that squad could look like come pre-season? Who do we think could be staying? Who do you reckon could stick around? Who are some of the names that do you reckon are floating around that conversation?
Obviously, things have changed a lot since Bailey's left, so that could all obviously have an impact. But I think Molly May Summers was vocal towards the end of the season saying that she wants to stay. Yeah. And as far as I'm aware, she's signed up to trials. I think because she was open about it, that's why I'm happy to say that. I'm not going to talk about any of the other players who've signed up for trials, but I believe there's been a couple of others that's played for us last season that's at least giving Beck and Stourbridge a chance, really. Look, whether or not they'll end up staying or choosing elsewhere will be, obviously, we'll have to wait and see. Well, I think the trials are, well, I don't know when this video will go out, but it's going to be this week, the first trial. So we were a little bit behind some of the other sides, but when I say behind, I think that was intentional. So we'll have a couple of trials end of this month and the beginning of next month, I believe, after dates, So we don't know. The reason why there's not been any signings yet is because Beck's probably not met any of them properly yet, or at least seen them play. So let's have a look at the trials and go from there. But I'd like to see 2 or 3 of them stay. I don't think there'll be much more than that, if I'm honest, because we didn't really end the season with a lot of players, if you look at it. So I think, when you look at that, we probably ended the season with about 15, 2 or 3 of which was under 18s. I believe one under 18 is definitely going to stay with the under 18s, but may choose to play a Sunday football elsewhere. But I think, first and foremost, I'd just like them to give Becky a chance. If you're not a big fan of Stourbridge, that's fine, I get that. But if you're still umming and ahhing, do I stay or do I not stay? Just come to a couple of trials, have a few training sessions with Becky, and that's what she's all about.
Definitely, yeah. What have you got to lose? I think you're definitely right in terms of not many players we can see staying, because I think if you go through that squad that ended last season, you can make a real good case for quite a lot of them to stay in Tier 4.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really, really tough. Obviously, I think the players that I'd like to stay are the players that have sort of been with us for a while. Obviously, Molly had a time away from Stourbridge, but she's still got Stourbridge connections quite heavily, so it'd be great to see her stay. And your players like, Erin Griffiths and Demi, I know she's out injured at the moment, but Demi Phillips, would love to see those two stay as well, because obviously Erin's got lots of appearances under her belt with Stourbridge, and Demi does across the different age groups as well. So yeah, to see them pair stay would be really, really nice. But again, you can make a fantastic case that they should both be playing Tier 4 football.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really tough, but it's exciting as well, isn't it? Because you just don't know what's going to happen, and everyone that goes elsewhere, we're going to follow them eagerly as well. So yeah, I can't wait for a bit more news to come following the trial dates.
And just touching on that very quickly before we move on, I think it's really unfortunate, but it's just the way it works, because there's limited amount of training sessions that you can get within a block of 4 weeks or so. You've got Redditch Borough trials on the same day as Solihull Moors, on the same day as Stourbridge.
Is it?
So if you're a local player that wants to play in Tier 5 next season,
you almost have to pick your club now, don't you?
Massively.
Without even confirming whether you're going to be good enough for it.
It is. So obviously, look, a lot of things can happen. We've seen that ourselves. Like, you go to trials, then come September, you're not getting your game time already, so you move before the season's even started. You know where you're at with your pre-season games, and not any pre-season games anywhere anytime soon. And also, there will be teams out there, Stourbridge probably being one of them, that may not get the full 18 players before the first pre-season game. So Becky will still be looking out there. She's not going to turn around and say, you missed these 2 trials, so I'm not going to sign you. I don't think she'd be like that. So I think there will still be opportunities. It's just the same that the initial top moments, the first few weeks, not as many may sign up for you at the start, but they'll hopefully come later in the summer.
Yeah, I suppose the idea is as well that if you don't get your trial place secured, that you can still be invited to train with the team.
Yeah.
Because if you get rejected from elsewhere, for example, you still are free to go and train with the team, and if you're good enough for Stourbridge, then I guess you'll get a call up from that, really, then, won't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about this Tier 5 league then, shall we? Because it's very, very interesting. We have it on screen for you just here. It's gone all funny. I can't read it anymore.
There we go. Is that better?
There we go. I can sort of read that.
There we go.
So let's run through the teams in this league, then, shall we? A lot of familiar faces popping up here.
We can't be bottom, surely.
We've got to get out of there quick. So starting from the top, we've got Cowden Court, Coventry Stinks, Hensford Town, Knowle, Leek Town, Lichfield City, Port Vale, Redditch Borough, Shifnal Town, Shrewsbury Town, and Solihull Moors. It is a very, very exciting league, isn't it? There's a lot of good teams. There's no shying away from that. Obviously, your likes of Redditch, your likes of Solihull, Hensford investing a lot of money in their club as a whole. Obviously, we know a couple of the signings that have gone there as well.
It's public,
very, very interesting. So yeah, it's going to be a tough league. There's no doubts about that. I'm not expecting us to be, running away with the league. I'm not really even expecting us to be up there in the conversation massively. Obviously, I know it's still very, very early days, and it depends on who goes where and who signs what. But yeah, I think the vision just needs to be, as you mentioned it earlier, stability. Just stay in the league. Just have a season of just chill.
Yeah.
And we don't need any more drama. Just everyone chill.
No new manager.
That would be really, really nice. But no, it's not always the way football works. But yeah, John, what are you thinking of this league? Because as we say, a lot of strong teams, but very, very fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the reason why it's a little bit exciting is because we still follow some of these teams over the last few years. So obviously we've been in this league before, so some of the names ring a bell. Knowle and Lichfield were the 2 teams that was promoted from Tier 6 to Tier 5. I was fortunate enough to interview both managers towards the end of their season when they won the leagues. So I know Ryan Mainford at Knowle, the manager. Lichfield have changed their manager now. Piers Webster is still part of the club, but not the manager. They've recruited to Kelsa coaches has gone to Litchfield now as the management team. So two teams there that want to actually be a sustainable Tier 5 side. And then you got Hensford, as you say. Hensford possibly underachieved a little bit last season, although having said that, they did have back-to-back promotions before last year. So to win 3 promotions on the trot, as we know, not everyone can do that. So I think realistically, that was probably unfair to put that pressure on them. But as you said, they are backed really well. Nice facilities there.
Yeah.
And our old Mill Rogers has obviously signed there with a couple of other good players. They've just signed a Walsall goalkeeper, and somebody else that's on the cards that's signing there, one of our former players as well, as a youngster. So lots going on there. Shifnal have been pretty much runners up in Tier 5 for the last couple of seasons. They're strong. Shrewsbury just signed a new manager who's got links with Wolverhampton Wanderers. And Solihull Moors are probably going to announce their new manager next week. So there's a lot going on there. We haven't even mentioned Port Vale. That's probably the biggest badge out of everyone.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe Moors, but Port Vale, Moors. So Port Vale might do something, haven't they, as well? So I was slightly excited seeing that because there's teams that I know a little bit away from over the last couple of years. So there's definitely ones you can get into there. Don't know too much about the 2 Coventry teams, if I'm honest, County Court and Cop Sphinx. I know we've played them, Stourbridge have got history with them over the last 5 years, and we have been a part of that, but I don't know how settled they are at the moment, how set up they are. And Leek Town, I remember going to Leek once or twice in the old days as well.
Yeah, I think with Leek, I think we went there following Kiddie once as well, maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Obviously, going there when we were in Tier 4 last time. Were they in Tier 4 with us?
Yeah, they was in Tier 4.
They were one of the bottom ones in Tier 4, weren't they, that season?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really interesting. As you mentioned, it's interesting because there's not the glamorous names. There's not, your Derbys and your Notts Counties and, Wolves and Peterborough.
The old days, yeah.
And teams like that anymore, but it's a fun league. It's more local. We're not going to have to, shovel out a bunch of money on coaches. You wouldn't think for any of these games.
No.
It's just quite a nice league. Obviously, we're going to probably plan to do a few more away days than last season because we were sort of limited by the distances with those last year. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait really. Some of the ones that are standing out to me, Hensford away.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that just because of the facilities, and
I
want to see. Last time I went to Hensford was probably at least 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, Andy was pointing.
Sure, there's not another reason.
Yeah,
Andy will say surely there's not another reason.
Well, yeah, certain members of the Glassgirls network might be interested in Hensford away for other reasons, but we'll leave that there. We'll leave that for speculation.
Redditch Borough, though, and I think that'll be our midweek game. So if we get a midweek game, regional leagues don't always get a midweek game, but if we do get one, and I would love one by the way, it's got to be Redditch Borough, because if you have a look on the map, everywhere's paired off.
I was just going to say this. We've always had a team that's been quite close.
Yeah.
Whereas Redditch, it's still like a 40-minute drive.
That is true. That is true. But it's still the closest one.
It is technically still the closest one to us.
Because you'll have Knoll and Solihull Moors, you'll have Shifnal and Shrewsbury, you've got your County Court and Coventry, you've got your Leek and Port Vale, is it? And then Hensford and Litchfield. So everyone's paired off perfectly. Yeah. So if there was to be one, and I'm not saying that there is, but our midweek game would be against our 2 forward managers in A. Clements and Meg Bailey.
Very true, yes. You'd like to think as well, with the restructuring of the regional leagues, that potentially they could get more things like that in place, potentially, sorting things out a bit more, collaboratively together across the league, sort things out in a more formal, sort of proper manner, which would be really, really nice to see.
Yeah.
That in itself is very exciting news, isn't it? Because for so long the regional leagues have been a bit all over the place. It's been a bit hard to find out certain news about fixtures, and so all the stuff on full time is a bit wishy-washy. But to get everything under one roof, a professional-looking roof as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely an exciting little topic, isn't it?
Yeah, something I want to talk a little bit more about in future weeks. I want to get a bit more on it, but this was branded around a good few months ago, and I dropped it out to a few people. Then it went quiet because I think there was going to change it slightly, and I think they have changed something. I don't know exactly what just yet, but I put some photos on my Instagram announcing publicly saying the logo, the regional logo. There's green, so National League's like different shades of purple and blue.
Yeah.
This one's green, and obviously you'll have an armband that's got Regional League on there, and it's just all going to be under one umbrella. So, but that's obviously to come. But I do want to talk a bit more about that when I know a bit more. But at the moment, it's very limited to what I know. But it's definitely exciting, yeah.
Definitely. Should we talk about this pre-season then?
I think so.
Because it's almost been, what, do you reckon, how long has it been since the last game?
May? Yeah. Would it been April or May? April, it's National League, so April would have been Stourbridge, yeah.
Yeah, so over a month.
And we missed the last game because it was Peterborough away.
It's very true, so almost 2 months when you think about it.
Yeah.
And I'm starting, obviously the World Cup's on, but it's not quite the same as going to a game, is it? You know, you can watch...
I mean, you can get to America if you want to.
You can spend £1 million to go and watch Harry Kane score a couple of goals, or you can just wait a couple of months. And Stourbridge versus Dudley Town will be coming to Dudley College for you. Well, I know what I'd pick. I know what I'd pick every day. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about these then. Dudley Town at home, 7:15 kickoff. A bit of running time.
Thursday,
that's a Thursday.
I'm guessing.
I think so. At Dudley College, and then on that Sunday, Telford Town also come to Dudley College. Notts County away. I'm not sure I'll be going to that one because it's a bit of a trek on a Sunday. And then TBC if it's home or away. We'll have to wait and see on that one. I think that's on a Thursday as well. And then the Kieran Jones derby.
We finally got a Kieran Jones derby.
Proper Kieran Jones derby.
Explain to the new viewers why it's Kieran Jones derby.
Yeah, so if you're new here, I work for the Walsall FC Foundation, and obviously right at the bottom of that list you can see Walsall FC, which comes under the umbrella of the foundation. So. Yeah, very much conflict of interest. I know who else would be supporting on the day. Don't you worry, Stourbridge fans. But yeah, it'd be really, really nice to see some of the girls that I've known through the year actually come and play against the team I support. So it's going to be a bit of a weird one. You know, I'm kind of glad it's a pre-season one, so not a lot's riding on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a fun kick around, right? Get you warmed up for the season. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Speaking of which, the season, starting off, is there an exact time frame yet? Or I know it's earlier than usual. I'm not sure if they've given an exact date yet, but it's definitely earlier.
I don't know if it's been publicly announced, but because other people are talking about it and there's more than one person saying it, we're hearing it's going to be the 16th of
which is directly
August,
a week after.
Yeah, which is massively earlier for regional leagues. Usually regional leagues start in September and go through to May.
Yeah.
And they brought it earlier because Midlands are always later. So if you notice, like the Northern Leagues and the Southern Leagues, and doing some of my shows that I do on other channels. Shout out to all for women's football. Wednesday nights live, 8 p.m.
Get on it.
Talk about all lower league stuff, and Andrew Wall behind the camera can sometimes be seen on there as well.
Half-8 then. Half-8 apparently.
Sometimes depends if
to our tech director.
It depends if Sin 71 will make an appearance because his little baby's got to be in bed first. Anyway, what was we talking about again?
The 16th of
yeah.
When would it be? July?
Yeah, August.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so it's slightly earlier. Oh yes, that's what I was going to say. So the Northern Leagues and the Southern Leagues always finish come April.
Yeah.
Pretty much, or they'll have like one game left. If you have a look at the Midlands League last season, it was ridiculous. You know, Redditch Borough still has 1 million games to play coming into May, and not just them, but other teams as well. So hopefully now, by bringing the regional leagues forward a little bit, it won't drag on. Or if it does drag on to May, and I've had to use that word drag on, but when you've got several games still to play, and other leagues have already finished, it does kind of seem that way. So hopefully now, if there are some matches that's called off, there won't be in such an urgency to play 10 games in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it makes sense in my life.
I don't think you'll have it as much in our league, but especially when you get a bit lower down the pyramid, especially when the grounds are not as good.
Yeah.
And you get teams, you know, they've had a few injuries. They call in sick for the game, and it gets.
Yeah.
Well, typically nothing actually happens. It just gets rescheduled. There's no sort of punishment or anything.
Yeah.
But you know, potentially moving forward with this new umbrella, could it be different? Could there be different sanctions for not fielding teams or whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be really, really interesting to see.
Standout ones there though on that graphic, by the way. I think they all stand out in regards to something or another. Dudley Town, obviously, we've got a couple of former players that play there.
Yes.
I think you have to, as a fan, you have to find something to get excited about. If you're not going to be excited about this season, then what's the point of you turning up or anything?
100%.
And you mentioned before, it's not the glamorous names of your Burnleys, your Wolves, Newcastles, Peterboroughs, but we can't control that now, can we? That's out of our hands in regards to who we're playing. So you look at some of these teams and you have to find something to get excited about. So when you look at Lightown, and there's going to be players there that we'll know from the past that's going to be there. There'll be player parents that we know that's there as well, former coaches that's there that we know. You've got to find something to get excited over, and you look at that, and apart from probably Telford, because I don't know anyone at Telford, there's a reason why to get excited over each one of those, especially 100%. Walsall. So it will be nice just to kind of get used to players' names again, because you know what
it's always like that period in pre-season, isn't it?
So hard, and I'm always one of the last ones to remember, because you guys are great at remembering who everyone is. I'm still first game of the season. I'm asking you, who's that one again? Who's that one again?
Even sometimes last game of the season.
Well, yeah. So as fans, we do have to kind of find something to get excited about, especially when there's no games going on. But it's not just the actual teams that you're playing against, as we just kind of mentioned there. It's our new players, so we're going to have at least 15 new players, at least. Yep. Hopefully a bit more, probably. Let's see who Becky brings in. And if DG was sitting right here now, DG would be saying, look at the style of play. Is she attacking? Is she defensive? How does she attack? Is she vocal on the sidelines? All this kind of stuff. So, as fans who follow this team and who follows women's football pretty much every minute that we're awake, these are all the things that we can look forward to, and we'll be able to see all our things that we're thinking about. They'll all come to fruition when we watch them play against these teams, won't it?
Definitely. And I think one of the most important things is when you go into these games, you can leave your wallet at home.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to pay for entry. I mean, don't leave it at home. Get a drink behind the Glassgirls Network bar.
Yeah.
Glassgirls Network bar?
Oh, yes. Maybe one day we'll sponsor the bar.
Boys bar. Sorry.
I think we do. Sponsor the bar, to be fair.
Might as well, yeah.
Hence why I've got a croaky voice. I've been there for the last 4 nights. And, well, 3 nights, sorry. Too many spice for one count.
Yeah, one too many perhaps. But free entry into Stourbridge FC Women's games for the next season. Really, really exciting news that is. That's courtesy of the Mayor of Dudley. It's really exciting because we are, Stourbridge FC as a whole, are part of his charity thing. I don't really understand it, but I just know it's good news for Stourbridge. It's good news for anyone that's a fan of Stourbridge. It's good news for our bank balances as well, really.
Yep.
Because we don't have to pay to get in, which is really cool. I did think last season, obviously, when we were playing these bigger teams, it's more of an incentive, isn't it, to come along, and perhaps more should have been done for ticket offers and things like that. But with this, you absolutely can't complain. Go and spend your Sunday. Don't have to pay anything if you don't want to. If you don't want to drink, you don't want food. You don't have to pay anything to go and watch a girls' game of football, and that's really, really exciting. And hopefully, it's going to be a bit more positive than last season was as well. Because I think it would be really nice to walk into a game optimistic and thinking, you can actually go and get points here. Whereas the past couple of seasons, it's been a bit more doom and gloom in comparison.
Yeah, I think for me the main thing is, one is hopefully the way it's going is still going to be at the War Memorial Ground. 2, there's people out there like my dad, for example, who really looks forward to going to the match on a Sunday. He lives by himself. It's his main thing throughout the week. So the fact that he's still at the War Memorial Ground, and the fact that a pensioner doesn't have to put his hand in his pocket. He'll still ball strings, don't get me wrong, but he'll happily do that. But he'll be made up with this. Well, he wasn't made up for it, I've told him already. And he'd love that. And he's still going to put the money behind the bar. But I think there's an opportunity here that we've said for many times, many years now. Let's get the kids back down again. So remember in the old days where they used to have a little sing-song with Anthony. They don't need to go down that route as such. However, there were a lot more kids there back in the old Tier 4, Tier 3 days than there have been the last couple of years, and I can see why. The kids don't want to keep us watching us lose. Somebody get that. As you said, I think we'll have a few more points on the board this time. But let's get the kids down. Let's encourage them to come down. And obviously the parents can spend a bit of money behind the bar, can't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no reason now why fans shouldn't turn up. We're looking after them in regards to getting free entry. So now, when they're actually in the building, let's continue to look after them.
And from the players' perspective as well, like a crowd is a pulling factor for a club, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you go in and playing in some park in the back end of some little town, it's not the most desirable location. Whereas if you can play at a proper stadium, with 150, 200 people there, it's a big difference, and it makes you feel like a proper player, and it makes you feel good about yourself, and signing autographs and taking photos with kids and stuff like that. It's all part of it.
The kids really look up to the first team as well, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, how many pictures have we had throughout the years of the under-12s boys team, or there's that iconic photo of Mil Rogers with the girl from last year. I forget her name now. The centre mid from last year. Sophia Thornycroft. Yeah. With her supporting, coming down as a junior and supporting the team.
4 years ago, roughly,
yeah. So it's all really exciting. Hopefully we'll get the crowds back down. Get everyone, in the bar afterwards, having a little sing song.
Yeah.
Enjoying the day, enjoying the Sundays. Few rough heads on Monday morning. No, it'll probably just be John and mine, to be fair. But
and Andrew Wall.
Yeah, and Andrew Wall.
And
yeah,
DG.
the wobbler. But yeah, that's really good news. Well done, Stourbridge. Well done, the mayor. Shout out the mayor.
Shout out to the mayor.
I do forget what his name is. I don't think it actually says it on that graphic.
I don't know off the top of my head now, but I know that he's very close to Switchboard Radio as well.
Okay.
So Radio Kev knows him.
Yeah, so he's in our good books then.
Yeah.
Well done, the mayor.
Yeah.
We like him over on the Glassgirls network.
There we do.
Well done, mate. Right, shall we talk about our final little piece of news?
Yeah.
Well, it's not news actually. It's our new segment. I say new. We've been doing it for 3 months now.
Yeah. So who have we had already?
It's the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Was I first?
Yeah.
Or were you first?
I think I was first.
You were first.
G Thacker.
You did G Thacker, yes. Mine was Andy Fisher.
Yeah.
And our director behind the camera, he was Amber Lawrence, his sponsored player. So we've all inducted them into the Hall of Fame. If you don't know what it is, basically it's just someone throughout Stourbridge FC Women history that we feel needs a bit of recognition in our Hall of Fame. And we've reached out to the Glassgirls network, haven't we?
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. We've reached out and we've asked a few people who they want to put in, and we're gonna have some names cropping up in episodes in the future. This episode we had Rich Clark, who is a name I'm sure is familiar to a lot of people.
This is what is on new viewers. Today, with obviously like a new management and this, that, and the other. So Rich Clark, let's just talk a little bit about Rich Clark.
Yes.
So Rich Clark's obviously been around a lot longer than us. And he used to.
And that's not you just saying he's old. In terms of being at the club, a lot longer than us.
No, he's not that much older than me, though, probably. No, he absolutely loves the club, the women's side and the men's side. He's experienced it all. Where we've turned around and said this is probably our 6th season that we're just about to go into. You could probably have another 10 years on top of that for him in regards to the women's section, if not more. So he knows the women's section more than anybody. And he's had a couple of appearances on this show, and he's kindly helped us out this week by nominating someone that we'll talk about shortly. But yeah, I think what Rich has done amazingly well is keep statistics throughout the whole seasons. So many statistics, and if you want to kind of know like the kind of things that he does, just go back to our previous episode.
Wow,
what a collection of stats. You can't, this is more than FA full time, more than what other clubs have got. This is like an encyclopedia. So yeah, just go back to our previous episode if you want to kind of know the level that it goes to. But yeah, he's chosen someone, and then so what we'll do is we'll read a statement out what he's kind of put, and then we'll give our thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, so he's written a lovely paragraph about a guy who I didn't even know existed before this, which is just testament to his knowledge and how much he is so passionate about it. And Rich Clark's nomination is a man called Keith Merrick. And let me tell you all about Keith Merrick.
That's about Keith.
Keith, big old Keith. There are plenty of players and staff I could nominate from the Andy Fisher era onwards, but I'm not sure there will be a queue I've already messed up. But I'm sure there will be a queue of people with the same names in mind. However, Stourbridge Women / Ladies, as we were known before, goes back further than that, and I felt that if I didn't nominate Keith, who would?
I like that. So he's absolutely right there. So because it was before all of our time,
yeah,
this name would never have popped up
exactly.
if it was Clark. So
yeah.
I like that.
I have to say, you have got the worst person reading off the thing here.
Keep going, it's okay.
Between 2013 and 2016, Keith led the team to back promotions, and in little brackets he's put, sound familiar? It does, Rich. It does. Taking us from Tier 9 to Tier 6, retiring after achieving the 3rd promotion, having taken us from the Birmingham Counties League 2 Division 2, Birmingham County League Division 2, through to Division 1, and then the Premier Division, and into the West Midlands League for the very first time in the club's history.
So that's basically from 9 to 8 to 7.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
And then at that point, he retired, and Andy Fisher took over the reins, a man that we know very, very well. His record speaks for itself. 59 matches in his time at Stourbridge, 45 wins, and just 8 defeats.
Wow.
Which also means 0 draws.
True.
There you go. 266 goals and 62 conceded. 266 goals in almost 60 games. What does that equal? It's about 4 a match, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is quite good.
Yeah, quite good.
Quite good, if I have to say so. And in league games specifically over that period, we played 42, won 35 of them, and only had 3 defeats, scoring 211 goals and conceding only 30. And Keith's final season saw the team play in the Women's FA Cup for the very first time, winning their first match in the competition 6-1 at Leek CSOB. Not sure what that stands for.
Answers on a postcard.
I was going to guess then, but I'll only end up offending someone. And his final game saw Stourbridge lift the Birmingham County Women's League Open Cup, beating Starland St Anne's 3-1. Not sure who they are either, to be fair. But
so many teams have changed names over the years.
Starland St Anne's, but we won them. Well done us. So Rich didn't watch the ladies' team back then as much, but looking back now, it is clear that Keith's teams played with every bit of as much togetherness and determination as Andy's, and often would further down the line. Yes,
and others would further down the line.
Yeah, I think I might be dyslexic. I think you're seeing a live diagnosis of dyslexia. For what he achieved, paving the way for so much that would follow, I can't think of anyone who deserves this place more in the Hall of Fame.
And then, thank you for that, because I'm glad you read it and not me. But he then put the league
table.
There
eventually.
He then put the league table since 2013.
Yeah, this is
2013. Mad. So we go back. Well, we talk about when we was in Tier 7, back to back promotions under Fish.
Yeah.
So from 7 to 6, 6 to 5, 5 to... No, sorry. 7 to 6, 6 to 5, 5 to 4. No, it's 6 to 5, 5 to 4, 4 to 3. So, yeah. So yeah, that's right, yeah. And then, but we go back here way even further, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, this is what? When did we start following the girls? 2020s? 21?
21 if you want it, yeah.
Yeah,
so it was a Tier 5 the first time round.
Yeah, so this is almost 10 years before we started watching.
2013 to 14. Look who came second to Stourbridge.
There's still some recognisable names in these leagues, like Camden Court are there. It's second in the league, and they actually followed us up. I guess they've got promoted as well, and they eventually won that league in 2014-15 actually.
Yeah.
But your likes of Alf Church, just looking down into the other seasons, Walsall Wood.
Well, Wednesbury had a team.
Yeah, Wednesbury, Tamworth, Coleshill, Rugby Town. Hallis Hawks, Coventryans. I feel like I've heard them before. Coventarians.
Yeah.
But yeah, so many names in there that you recognise, and it's just mad because that's obviously, as we say, coming up to 10 years before we even started watching.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy. So yeah, Rich Clark, thank you very, very much for your inclusion there.
I think it's really important the fact that there's always a new wave of fans that come through. It's not even a wave, you know. It could just be every season there'll be new fans, and we see it. We see it ourselves. So we've been around there for 6 years. We're going into
well, it's like telling DG about all the players that he missed during the sort of Andy Fisher coming up through the leagues. He was never there to witness that. So we tell him all about this, and it's exactly the same with what Richard's done, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And wouldn't it be great if we could get in touch with Keith, or at least see a photo of Keith? Because
there's nothing about Keith on the internet. If anyone knows Keith, let us know in the comments.
Get him on the show. But no, it's great because what is achieved there is what we've waxed lyrical over for the past few years. You know, with the Andy Fisher era. He did have a flag.
No.
Did he have a song?
No, probably not.
Yeah. so no, it's absolutely right. So to win 3 consecutive promotions again. It's something that we never really mentioned because obviously we wasn't there at the time, so it's really good that Richard's brought that to everyone's attention, not just ours. And just to reiterate, if he didn't put Keith in, no one probably would.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he went down that route.
Definitely.
If there's people at home that wants to get involved in nominating someone, we will reach out to you. DG will be back on the show soon, so I'm pretty sure I know who he wants. And there's another couple of fans that I know that are happy to come on and do that as well. But I think it's important that we just put it out there just to get more of a variety of generations and types of players and everything else like that as well.
No, definitely, I love it. And speaking of which, we should definitely do a few more historical related videos, whether that's getting people on from the past or doing stuff to do with Stourbridge FC history, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for them. We might brainstorm some ideas.
Definitely.
But yeah, with that, I think that rounds off nicely the episode, doesn't it? A lovely bit about Keith.
Yeah.
Shout out Keith. Shout out Rich Clark. Shout out everyone. And yeah, John, thank you.
Thank you.
I think we need to go and have a cold shower now, don't we?
Yeah.
Because I'm sweating my absolute.
Yeah, got the doors open and everything here, but it's still warm.
All these bright lights of the Glassgirls Network studio. But yeah, there is a little bit of a breeze actually. I've just felt that.
Not too bad.
But yeah, hopefully you all enjoy the rest of your summers. Don't get sunburnt. Remember to wear sun cream. And hopefully we'll see you all at the pre-season games within the next month. Do you reckon we'll probably do another show just before those kick off when there's a bit of news, I hope?
I'm glad you said that. So this is episode 8, which is at the end of the season now.
Yeah.
But we always do a yellow and black thumbnail transfer season, so new signings. So the next show will be before the season starts.
So basically what you're saying is Beck needs to get a move on with the signings.
Yes. There we go. Look forward to that.
Yes. We'll see you back in the Glassgirls Network studio for the transfer special. But yeah, apart from that, hope you've all enjoyed watching. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you very soon. Like and subscribe and all that, and goodbye. Bye.